everyone, and welcome back. This is the Dragon Rider, aka Rider. We're going to be a game three. First game though between Roll Swapped and the Dandelion Knights. Joining me here will be our color caster, Phoenix.
Hey everyone, I'm really excited to cast this match. I actually have played with some of the players on Roll Swap. So on Roll Swap, they have Revo Demise in top, ZZ in jungle, Mac Moon Sun in mid, Gruer in ADC, and Multitasker 1 on support. And on the other side, we have the Dandelion Knights with Cameron Beats, Infinite Blades, Mystic Wave, I'm not sure, Buff Aphelios, and Note Aggro. Roll Swap will be blue side in game 1.
Alrighty, let's head right into this pick ban.
Yep, so looking, Roll Swap, you can see they chose a very early miss. And having played, actually, hold on a second. It looks like there was a little bit of, do I have the correct, hold on a second, maybe
No, Misfortune was the first pick here.
I think I've loaded up the wrong file. Yes, Misfortune, first pick, followed by Leona Draven for Dandelion Knights. So Dandelion Knights have run with a very threatening bot lane. Leona Draven might be the most iconic kill lane to me, maybe like Alistar Draven. But Leona's very good with any kind of ADC who can be aggressive early, does a lot of damage, and Draven does both of those things. Roll Swap answer with their own support, Nautilus, which is a pretty strong bot lane themselves. Nautilus really has the CC to allow Misfortune to get her damage off without being interrupted, because unlike most ADCs, she's very vulnerable to being CC'd out of her ultimate, and thus not being able to do a lot of her damage. And then Roll Swap pick strong early jungle and top with the Renekton and Jarvan. And I like the last pick Veigar to give them some scaling, because they've drafted 3 early game physical damage dealers in the Renekton, Jarvan, and Misfortune. And having that safety net of Veigar of a late game scaling magic damage dealer is going to be really powerful for them. The Dandelion Knights go with Kayn, Galio, and Orianna. I don't think Orianna scales as hard as Veigar, but she is a very strong scaler. Her late game team fighting is excellent, especially with the Leona Galio frontline to deliver the ball onto targets. And then Kayn's just quite. This may have been before the last round of Kayn buffs, because I think this is a 10 point. No, this is a 10.9. So this is with the Kayn buffs, where he gets bonus damage to minions on his Q, and his W slow is now decaying, but is much stronger. So Kayn's pretty potent.
Yeah, I'm really interested about a couple of these fights and matchups here. This Misfortune and Jarvan combo should be that is just a very devastating, with the lockdown of Nautilus and Renekton is going to be really good. And to counteract that on Team Dandelion Knights there, Galio is a very good just disengage, engage, and counter ganking roaming mid laner. And he's going to be top lane this game actually. And with the utility mid Orianna.
Yeah, let me just double check one thing. I think the file I have and the pick ban don't agree. So let me just make sure I have the right game. Okay, yeah. So I got that. So the file raffle file I had was mislabeled.
That's no problem. We can definitely just quick switch
Yeah,
that
let
up
me
there.
just boot that up real quick. Alrighty then. So looking at this, which do you favor overall? So one thing to note is, as I load this up, this is a jungle Galio and a lane Kane.
Really? You
Which,
don't see that very
yes.
often.
So it's actually quite strong.
Yeah. Lane Kane definitely got that buff, and I'm really excited to see what these two teams have to bring here. But let's quickly just jump into game. I got the file loaded up, and I'm ready to go.
Yep. Mr. Producer, we loaded up the Misfortune Draven game. Yes, so it is a top lane Kane for Cameron Beats. Kane really, that buff to his Q damage against minions gives him excellent clear, and while his early game is quite weak, Renekton is very much going to control the lane pre-6. Rost is exceptionally good at fighting top lane bruisers like Renekton. And so if you're going to play top lane Kane, you're really kind of just playing to survive and stall and get as much poke as you can until you can become Rost, at which point you actually overpower most other top laners if you aren't too far behind.
Oh
And
yeah.
the jungle Galio for Infinite Blades notably took Ghost instead of Flash. And I'm interested to see how this works out because you don't see a lot of jungle Galio. When he's played, it's typically in mid lane, occasionally in support. And it's very, and I don't think I've ever seen Ghost jungle Galio. His engage is a little wonky, so Ghost could help with that. But we're going to have to see how much Infinite Blades can do with that.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this Galio clears and how fast he can actually get to 6. Is he going to be feeding off lane XP, or if he's going to just do a hard camp farm in the bot in his jungle there and then go for a quick level 6 ganks on either bot or mid?
And the level 6 is a good thing to point out because Galio in mid or support can be tracked somewhat leading up to his ult. So your mid laner can call Galio's roaming down bot because particularly at level 1, it's not tremendously long range. So you can kind of get a sense of when a Galio might be coming. But out of the jungle, you really don't have any idea. It's kind of like Jungle Pantheon. Unless you have excellent vision to track him in his own jungle, you don't necessarily know where he's going to be or which lanes he could be looking to ult to.
Yeah, I think that's really key. I think these level 1 wards are definitely something that we're going to have to be looking at, and definitely something that we're going to have to watch here. The Jarvan definitely will. I feel like he should be going up and warding up the Raptors just to see where this Galio is pathing, and then adjusting accordingly.
Yeah, because I would think Galio would be pretty good at clearing Raptors, even though his Q does have a maximum damage to monsters. Um, a camp with a lot of small monsters like Raptors should be relatively easy for him to. All right, looks like we are ready to get into the game, ready to start things off. So, Mr. Producer, if you will switch it over and take us away. All right. Looking at runes and masteries, I think it looks pretty standard on the side of roll swapped. On the Dandelion Knights, I think it's also pretty standard. You have Aftershocks on the Galio and the Leona. You have Conquer on Draven, which I think is relatively common. I'm not a Draven player or an ADC player myself, but I think it's usually Conqueror, press the attack, maybe Fleet Footwork if you're concerned about poke.
Yeah, he's usually bringing in Conqueror or press the attack. He doesn't look like he's going to be one-shotting anything quick, but that's really good, overall good damage. We do have the hook onto Nautilus. Leona flashing away here. And
And
that's
yeah,
big.
that's a very good invade. When you have these aggressive engaged champs, denying them their flash is tremendously valuable because that's one of their best tools to get onto you. And so even though Leon's going to heal up and didn't die, didn't burn any potions, her not having flash means she's vulnerable to a Jarvan gank, and just that it's going to be harder for her to play aggressively onto the Misfortune because she doesn't have like the flash Q or flashy as an alternative. One moment. It looks like we're going to resynchronize.
Alrighty, getting right back into it here. So they did get that ward on those Raptors there. So Jarvan is going to be watching the pathing of that Galio here. Seeing what he's going to do. I think Galio is probably just going to do that hard minion wave there. Going to get that quick level 3 doing the blue Gromp Wolves.
I'm a fan of doing a full side clear, particularly on blue side, because I find that most junglers, unless their clear is like really terrible, are fully capable of doing a blue side clear without losing too much health, especially if you're...
Yeah. I agree with that here. We got nice damage off of Leona and Draven. How do you think this matchup's going to go, knowing that Leona blew her flash already from that level 1 invade? How do you think the Nautilus Misfortune are going to react to this?
I think the early level 2 for Draven is going to give them the edge here, just because the damage is so good off of Draven that Misfortune isn't going to be able to risk taking multiple spinning axes. I think probably their best bet is to look for a lot of double up poke and try to chunk Draven down.
Now, we look like we got a gank up top here. We got that flash from Kayn. Good disengage on that. And I wanna look up top here. This matchup you were discussing before, getting that pre-6, getting that pre-Ross Kayn can be pretty hard against a Renekton. Oh, another retake, and there's the first blood.
Yep, so that's very important for Revo Demise because he was getting pushed around some with the poke out of Kayn. But the first blood for Jarvan doing absolutely what he needs to and getting those early ganks off. Renekton gets an early assist, and Kayn's forced to back and TP in. I'm wondering if it looks like Revo is going to save his TP so that he'll have that to answer a play elsewhere, or just to get back to lane for the future when he has a better buy than just a longsword. Let's see, so Orianna has already back. She got her just a Sapphire Crystal. Notably, Orianna did not take teleport, so she is going to be walking back to lane, which will give Veigar some uninterrupted time on these minions to get his Q stacks up. Overall,
things are going to be pretty even.
Yeah, pretty even. Small gold lead, about 300 gold for roll swap because of the first blood, but notably Kayn has a pretty significant CS lead. So he's actually not that. He's about even with the Renekton. Let me check. As a matter of fact, he is 20, 30 gold ahead of the Renekton overall, despite giving first blood.
That's big right there. Because the one thing with Kayn, I know when doing the Kayn top lane there is his mana is so heavy that you have to get that early lead. You have to get ahead. You have to start to snowball. Get that Ross form as early as possible. So he's engaging, but not only that he's getting CS while doing it too.
Yeah, and notably, what I find about Kayn is when he's ahead, he's very mana efficient, but when he's behind, he's super mana inefficient. Because the question is, how much are you forced to use Shadow Step to heal? Because that's 90 mana. If you're using E off cooldown just to try to stay healthy, you burn a lot of mana, but if you're just queuing the wave or using W to poke, you're a lot more efficient. It's really the E that burns all of Kane's mana. Galio is in Jarvan's topside jungle. He's going to take away the Gromp here and possibly the Wolves. Jarvan's looking at a gank in mid lane.
Jarvan's going to be getting that gank there. Orianna flashed. Is not able to escape. Looks like we might be able to get another pickup here. Orianna uses her Ignite, but does not live with her life. She actually gets a kill on Veigar.
Yes. She flashes into the cave accidentally, but in the process dodges the Jarvan EQ. They have the slow from Glacial Augment and the Jarvan Golden Aegis, and they are able to walk her down, but the tower's heated up so much that by the time Jarvan has bailed out and Orianna goes down, Veigar just falls for a trade kill.
Here we go. Galio's getting turned on here, getting punished for staying in the jungle for so long. Now Jarvan just cleaning up the kills, getting that Veigar TP down. Renekton able to have that pressure come down, so Kane can't even respond here.
And notably, that's an issue where Infinite Blades did not have flash. He could have flashed out of the cage and then tried to Justice Punch away if he had it, but because he has Ghost, once the cage goes down, he has no way out of it except for ulting. But he's not level 6 yet, he has no escape, and Jarvan picks up a kill. Or did it? Oh, no, the kill went to Veigar, but Jarvan does secure that.
Yeah, and that in itself, the kill going to Veigar is pretty damaging to Orianna in the sense that she is gonna have to deal with that, with the gold there, that gold advantage. But I think they're pretty much even actually.
I think so, yeah, because Orianna does have, it's about 100, maybe 150 gold for Veigar, but a lot of it's that 40 some ability power he's getting out of his passive, which is basically almost 900 gold worth of ability power that he gets for free. Speaking of free, there's going to be an Earth Drag going over to Roll Swap. I don't know, Galio was clearing his bot side. I don't know if they just didn't respect the possibility of an early dragon. Maybe the call was to give it up, but for Renekton, for Jarvan, for Nals, for all these frontliners, that little bit of extra resist is just going to feel so great. Because right now, it'll give you a little bit of tankiness before you've built some resists, and once you do start building some durability, it just lets you frontline that a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. I think what they did was, let it drop, try and get that level 6 on Galio, and then work from there.
I'm curious, I don't think there's any way, I don't think there's any way for us to check how far along Kane is towards his transformation, but he's probably fairly close because he's been trading quite aggressively with the Renekton.
Looks like another engage mid lane here. Veigar with the ultimate, taking out the Orianna.
And that's just the classic Jarvan play. You know that once you have 6, if the mid laner doesn't have flash, they're a free kill. Ori's flash was still down from that previous gank. He doesn't even need to hit the EQ. He just rolls in, EQs to get into range, ults her, and then the Veigar damage is enough.
Yeah. I'm looking at Galio has hit 6 now, but he's gonna have to reset before doing another gank. I feel like he might be rotating mid or bot to try and get that bot lane rolling or getting that Orianna back on track.
With a skirmish in bot lane, both supports are 6. And I expect this is when we're going to see the bot lane break open because both Nautilus and Leona are very capable of forcing kills at 6 with the long range engage that their ultimates give them. Nautilus has been chunked down a little bit by that trade though, so if he goes in, he may be trading his life at best.
I agree. It looks like the Galio is just going to be pathing towards his red there, and then slowly transitioning to bot side. But I think Jarvan's going to be doing the same thing as well. So I think in a couple minutes, we're going to see a big fight break out.
Yeah, and notably, I'm looking at the Jarvan and the Renekton's itemization. They've both gone full damage. Renekton's got the Bilgewater Cutlass. He's starting on the Bork Cleaver build. But he's bypassed for an Executioner's Calling because he expects, I think, correctly that there's going to be a Ross coming and he wants anti-heal for when Ross does show up.
Oh, we got that flash engage from. Oh, okay, we're getting that disengage, but that NF ulti coming in down. Not enough damage to take out the Draven. DCing down the Leona. The Galio's coming in, ulti by Jarvan, taken out by the turret here. There goes Draven, trying to take off Nautilus. Flash or MF there. Galio, can he pick them both up? They are so low. Quick pickup there. Is he able to get the double kill? And he does.
Oh, Veigar
flashing in, but doesn't know that the Orianna's right there. Takes out the Galio.
So it's a good engage to start it off by multitasker. Buffo-Felios is forced to burn his flash and heal to survive the Misfortune ult. They walk down the Leona. Jarvan ult does claim the kill, but there's a brief delay before Jarvan can collapse his own wall, which means that the Galio ult is able to be channeled and show up, which holds Jarvan under tower enough that even after he flashes out, he dies, I think, to the tower shot, not to the Draven ult.
Yeah. Notably, the Draven didn't pick up a kill there.
That's true, he didn't cash in. Ooh, but ZZ is going to be able to pick up Mystic Wave in a skirmish in the bot river.
Quick pick up there. I feel like we're going to get that transition to Ross very soon. He's been stacking up very heavily topside, but the CS advantage has almost gone even.
Yeah, so looking at his buff bar, he does have Jarvan ready.
Raven's in trouble. Here comes the Nautilus, here comes the Jarvan, and quick pickup by MF. And they get the... Nope, not quite.
Tom's just off the mark. Yeah, so Kane can become Ross on his next back, which he's going to do right now. Looks like they're going to be posturing around this dragon. Notably, it is a warrior Jarvan, so Jarvan's not tanky, and Nautilus has not yet finished much in the way of defense. So Rollstop don't have a huge front line.
Here we go, another fight breaking out. Galio's going down, Nautilus going in, ulti from Leona, ulti from MF. They're trying to pick off Leona now. Leona's just trying to get the Veigar, but not enough. There goes the Draven ulti coming down, taking out Veigar. Now they're going to be looking on Dragon right now.
The Whirling Death does claim the kill on Veigar, and notably, not only is it a kill for Draven, so he does cash in some stacks, but it is a shutdown. He gets 700 gold for that, which is a lot of money that Draven really needs. And you do see that the Cinderhulk Galio actually tanks for quite a while, and it looks like they're going to at least trade even, but Multitasker has an excellent stopwatch to block the to dodge the Leona ult, and he does not actually fall in the end, and so they're only able to trade 1 for 2, and they do lose the air drag. And Veigar with air drag is just really scary because that ult hurts so much, and having it up more often is just really potent. And plus, I say the other person who benefits most is the Nautilus, because it just allows him to engage much more often, and basically at will.
Good poke damage by Veigar. And I noticed the Veigar's actually going Glacial Augment here. How do you feel about that?
I think that's pretty standard. Oh, well, he's going back to the spawn platform right now. But I think Glacial's pretty standard at this point for Veigar, because Veigar's issue is that he's not very safe against assassins, and his early damage isn't very good until he gets his ultimate. But what the Glacial build does is it allows him a lot of safety, because he can use the Twin Shadows and the Frost Cannon to peel for himself. He can also use them to get picks on a champion who has trouble kind of setting up his own kills. So it allows him to do both those, and it's really cheap. And so he gets to get onto things like Death Cap really fast, and he gets his completed Lost Chapter item very quickly. And whereas other mages like Ahri or Nico will sacrifice a lot of their damage potential in order to get that Glacial build and get that CC and utility, Veigar doesn't, because he has so much AP from his passive and so much scaling damage that he doesn't really have to have Ludens, for example, to do damage, and he can go second or third item Death Cap and still do big boy mage damage with 2 kind of more utility focused items. I kind of think the build probably needs a bit of a nerf. I don't know what, but I think it's really strong, and it really covers a lot of Vagar's weaknesses.
Very interesting. I agree. Yeah, notably, now that they just picked up that Rift Herald, seeing where they're gonna drop it. Are they gonna bring it down mid, or are they gonna bring it top?
Well, both mid and top. Well, let's see. Wait, who picked it up? Okay, ZZ picked up. So I think mid is an easier kill. Rift Herald does about half of the turret's health, a little less, I think. So you won't kill the tower in one shot. All right, so they're going to be dropping it top here.
They're dropping it top side here.
But the wave's already been cleared.
Cleared by that Ross damage. Ross is just making quick work out of both of them.
I think
that
Ross
ulti jumping out. Orianna putting her ball in.
So they are going to push the Rift Herald off. Dandelion Knights, Cameron Beats is just like, look, these are 2 bruisers, and they're not that strong at this point. Jarvan's fed, but he's also pretty squishy. Like, I'm Ross, I can fight this. He clears out the wave so they don't manage to kill the tower, forces Jarvan stopwatch and flash, and then Orianna shows up to guarantee that they can't try to 1v2 him.
Here he goes again. I'm really interested in Jarvan's coming in to counter gank it here. Are they going to be able to pick him off? He is closed in right now. He has to wait for a D to come back around if he wants out. But Galio coming in, knocking up the Jarvan just on the brink there, taunting both of them. Kayn is in trouble. Down he goes.
Yeah, massive damage out of the Renekton, and because Renekton has the Executioner's Calling, he's sacrificed durability. Oop.
Veigar, can he do it? Can he take out the chicken? Not enough. Galio comes out big.
Infinite Blades very smartly starts channeling the Shield of Durand as soon as he sees Veigar, so he has a lot of magic damage. Right now it gives him 29% magic damage reduction, which means that combined with his magic damage shield from the Shield of Durand passive, he doesn't die to the Veigar ultimate. He does taunt Veigar, which extends the damage reduction duration, and then he just CCs Veigar under the tower. This guy has also now picked up a Proto Belt, so he's going to have very good engage potential and a good chunk of damage.
We got another engage here. Leona's going in, but Draven is just in not a great spot to get anything. But he comes around, gets the shutdown. Can they pick up 2? Draven's going around, chipping him down with damage there. Not enough to pick up the Nautilus, but that is huge.
It looks like Node Aggro has really kind of caught himself out. Oh. They've caged in Ross. He's trapped in a glass cage of emotion, but he's going to walk out. And this should be a dragon going to Dandelion Knights, which is good because this would have put Royal Swap on Soul Point. They pick up some damage, and considering that they have a damage dealer in top lane on the Ross, damage dealers in mid and ADC, and even Galio building some damage with the Proto Belt, they're all going to benefit a lot from that extra AD and AP. It'll allow Draven to continue pushing in this period where he's very strong before he kind of falls off. And it will help Orianna match Veigar for late game scaling. Because notably, Veigar did not go for the Twin Shadows. He's going for what looks like a Rod of Ages. And this is a really late Rod. Like, usually, if I'm going to build a Rod of Ages, I want it by like 15 minutes at the latest. Because it takes 10 minutes for that item to become fully powerful. He still needs about 300 gold, so he's looking at like a 21-minute Rod of Ages maybe, unless he gets a kill like right here. So it's going to be 30 minutes into the game before that Rod is fully stacked, and even longer before you can get Death Cap. So Macnumson is really, I think, expecting or banking on this game going late. And if it goes late, he'll be tremendously powerful. But if the game ends at like 30 minutes before he can get Death Cap or before he gets his Twin Shadows, if he chooses to go for that utility, it could turn in Dandelion Knight's favor because Veigar has delayed that huge spike.
You've noticed that the the gold differential actually has been slowly recovering.
Small.
Yeah, before it was a 3K gap here not too long ago, but with the recent events that's been going down, they might be able to bring it back and almost back to even.
Yeah, it's 1.5K, but I don't think that's too scary for Dandelion Knights because the only thing you're really concerned about scaling wise is the Vagar. Renekton is going to be less useful in a late game fight than Rost is. They were looking for Ori, but
Yeah.
notably, 2 turrets go down in very quick succession. But the first tower and second tower go to roll swap. Dandelion Knights do pick one up in exchange, but it's now about a 2K gold lead for roll swaps. Alright.
Oh, he got the pick on the Ross here. Is he gonna fall down? Galliowald's coming in. Misfortune is doing her damage in the background. That massive taunt by Galio, but not enough damage. Down he goes. Down goes Orianna as well, and they're looking to pick up this mid lane turret.
Yeah, that's a huge, well-coordinated fight from roll swap, but at the core of it, it's a 3v5. They catch the Ross, the bot lane for Dandelion Knights is not there, so they don't have the Draven damage and Leona CC.
Oh, they get the Leona. They're picked her up. Down goes Leona. Now they're looking at inhibitor. Are they gonna take it? They're gonna reset.
They're gonna back out here. Yeah, Jarvan's pretty low. He's probably not in a condition to initiate another fight. Renekton's already burned his ult, and he's not very tanky at this point. But speaking of not very tanky, the catch on Ross, I think, showed what the issue is with high healing champions, because Ross is a champion who's all about healing. He's got Conqueror, I'm assuming he's running Ravenous Hunter, maybe Taste of Blood, he's got the Death Dance, he's got, all of his built-in healing. But when you have a champion like a Darius or a Rost or an Alawi, where all of their durability...
Oh, they're going to be trying to catch out this Renekton off guard here. And that's going to be a quick cleanup by them.
And he falls to the same issue. Like, he's got Merc Treads and 200 health from Phage, but he's really relying on his ult and Bork to keep him going. And if you have a healing champion who just gets CC'd, they can't heal without fighting people. And if they just die in the CC chain, they don't get to heal. And so they're not tanky. They're going to start up the Baron here.
Not the Baron. They are going to contest it.
Roll swap
Vagar coming down. And that ulti going in. There we go. Leona ults down. Kane takes out Jarvan. They're going in on... Wow, that was a quick cleanup. Now, who picked... And they picked up the Baron. Impressive play.
Yes. The Baron gets very low. I think Jarvan tried to smite it, but was a little early. Probably because he was getting very low and was like, I have to try. But there's just so much damage out of the Orianna and the Draven there that even with a really good Misfortune ult, the front line as it is you got a Nautilus with an Aegis, a bunch of resist but not a lot of health, and a Jarvan with Black Cleaver is just not tanky enough to survive to get to the Baron.
Blood. He does break Draven Flash, but they already take the Draven, so now there's no objectives for a little while, so I think they're going to reset here.
Yeah, I think they don't end up picking up any towers, but given how low mid tower is, it'd be very easy for them to walk out and take that up. I think the other place to look would be the bot tier 1, particularly with first Baron, which I believe later Barons last longer. With first Baron, a lot of times you're looking for like, okay, what is sort of the low-hanging fruit? What's the easy money we can get? Particularly in a situation like this where all the tier 2s are up, you're not really in a position to try to break the base open. I would be looking for rolls for Dandelion Knights. You've evened up the gold lead now. Just figure out, where are easy towers we can get? Where are easy objectives? They take the dragon. If they pick up 2 or 3 turrets here, that'll be just a nice chunk of change, which will make them stronger going into the next set of objective fights. Galio notably has picked up Abysmal Mask. I think it's a good idea because magic resist, Galio scales off of it, increases his damage. It will empower Orianna and Leona's damage, but I think he also needs some armor pretty fast because there's 3 big physical damage dealers on the side of Roll Swap, and he's going to need some physical damage reduction to be able to survive that. Looking for a pick on the side here.
Veigar spotted in a bush. There goes Jarvan. Flashing in. They're going to try and pick up Leona. Not enough damage. Get over here on the other line. Jarvan ulti going down. Galio ulti going down. MF ulti out here, but they're just going to pick them off. Take them out there. Too much damage from the Draven with the Quadra.
And that was the team fight of Draven right there. Like,
that's big. I think that might be game.
I think this is game here, yeah. Because at first it actually looks good, in my opinion, for Roll Swap. Because Leona catches the Veigar, but she E's into his cage, gets stunned. Veigar gets out of the way before the Orianna ult goes down on the Leona, so all it hits is Jarvan, and it doesn't kill him. So they've burned a lot of their team fight and engage tools. They haven't caught the Veigar. Veigar doesn't even die there, but Draven is just allowed to free hit. Everyone's trapped inside the Jarvan cave, which is fine for Draven because he just throws his ult in there and starts right-clicking. And he just gets to do massive damage without being challenged.
Big team fight win for TDK here. And they're looking to fight again. They take out Renekton. They take out Kayn. Leona's ulting in. They're trying to pick off someone else here. That's a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, they lose the top laner, and notably, Veigar picks up the kill, and it is a small shutdown. He gets 450 there, which is good, but like, if you look at these team fights, they don't really have a way to get to Draven. Veigar is not a very long-range mage. Misfortune can hit him with her ultimate, but through Black Cleaver, through Bloodthirster heal, the Death's Dance he's just gotten, that is not going to 100 to 0 Draven. Jarvan is probably the only way they have to get to him because one of Renekton's issues in late game is that he has the double dash from Slice and Dice, but they're not very long range. He needs to hit someone with the first dash to get the second. He's vulnerable to being hit by the Draven stand aside during them. Like, unless Revo Demise flash stuns the Draven, they don't really have a way to get enough damage to the Draven to kill him.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that sense. They have a dragon coming up in 1 minute here, and they're getting some wards, clearing it out, resetting, and taking it slow.
Macnoon's Sun is extremely... Okay, Macnoon's Sun is about to complete his death cap, and this is, I think... This is when Roll Swap have to fight. This is probably the biggest spike in terms of relative power they're going to get, maybe for the rest of the game. Veigar has death cap. Orianna not only does not have a death cap, but has gone the defensive Banshee's Veil, and is just starting her third item. Veigar does way more damage than Orianna does at this point, even though he's a level down. So, in terms of relative position strengths, Veigar is really strong. Oh, they've got the King.
They got King. Just a little bit of it. But not able to catch him. He's a slippery little guy there.
He is, and notably, they don't have the Renekton because he's busy clearing top mid lane against the supers.
Yeah, so this is a 4v5 that's about to happen. They do see Renekton mid there, and they're going to be looking for an engage. Leona gets the E in, goes onto Jarvan, keeps him out of the fight there.
Renekton is
TPing in. They have to fight now. Here we go. Here's the battle. Meet me in the alley, going in for the dragon there. Dragon goes down. There they go, and the Misfortunes are getting placed to ult there, but not enough for this Galio King. Draven putting out the damage. Kane's on Misfortune. And I think this will be quick cleanup of Misfortune here. That's down. Jarvan gets caught.
They ult the Draven, which does force him out of the fight, but the Dragon's already down. And Ross just gets into the back line. I think he is in the pit and walks through the pit wall using Shadow Step. And then like the backline doesn't have the damage to kill him. He's just, slapping people and healing up. Like, he's not even trying to kill people. He's just trying to be annoying there. Galio ults onto him, hits like 4 people with the hero's entrance. And the damage and disruption from the Galio just means the fight is over. At the instant Galio lands, the fight is over.
I do really like this team comp they have going for them over on TDK here. They got 4 people with heavy CC locking people down and just letting Draven feed it to them.
Yeah, Draven, he's gotten the last whisper. He's back now. I wouldn't be surprised if 2000 gold, he should be finishing, finishes Lord Dominic for guards. He doesn't have a lot of attack speed, but given that he gets attack speed out of Blood Rush, I'm not sure if he needs it. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for a Zeal item here as his last item. Something with some attack speed here, but like, he'll just kill anyone that he can get, and he'll kill most of the squishies in like 2 hits. At most, maybe 1. The blue inhibitor is up, so there's no more supers coming in. So Rollstop can safely fight around this dragon. Oh man, that was a crit love tap from Misfortune, and it did 100 damage to Ross. He's got the Randwood's Omen, he's got Ninja Tabby, he's got armor from Death Stands. Like, he is very tanky, and Misfortune doesn't have the damage really to kill him at this point.
Oh, you watch these team fights, and the Misfortune's ulting. She's putting out the damage, but it's just not enough to take them all out.
Yeah, so their posture, they haven't started the Baron yet, and notably they're on a ward. Okay, there we go, they've started.
Oh, there we go. Okay, they started up the Baron.
Veigar's too far. Veigar's not here though. I don't think he's going to be here in time before the Baron goes down.
Here we go. Here's another fight coming down. Leona just keeping him out. They get the Baron. Now they're looking up for another thing. Renekton's on Orianna. She can't escape. The Renekton picks up that Orianna there. They're trying to run for their lives. The Ross is coming in. Going with the ulti. No one can stop this man. He's going to be knocking you up and making you feel bad.
Yep. Ross just, he's like, look, I'm basically invincible. No one can really kill me here. Renekton does pick up the Orianna in the backline. Mystic Wave falls, but he falls for Baron.
But we look like we got another
team fight.
So they're just stopping his backing at this rate. They're just keeping pressure on other side lanes, knowing that they have that Baron buff.
Yeah, reloaded my. They are going to allow him to back here, I think, but at this point, he I don't know.
Draven's going in. He found the pick on Draven, unable to kill him. Kayn is putting out the damage. Draven's in a good spot. There he goes. He's going to be a 2 for 2. Draven double kill.
Even through the anti-heal, like, there's just so much healing on the side of Draven, and he's, he comes through with a couple hundred health, and they're just like, they need to catch Draven alone without, like, CC to protect him, to try to kill him. And even then, it would be pretty tough. Galio does pick up the Frozen Heart, which I like. Just gets a big old chunk of armor. It's 110? Yeah, 110 armor. Cooldown reduction, so he's at full CDR. So he's now very much that front line that he wants to be. Does a little bit of damage, but all he's got to do is throw himself in there, get some CC down, and trust in his carries to do the rest.
Now here's another really big dragon here. Rolsoff is going to have to win this fight if they want to survive.
I will say, there have been multiple fights at this point that we both thought was game, and the Dandelion Knights have not yet closed it out.
Leona, Freeman, done! There goes Misfortune. The damage is gone. They're going for the engage. Renekton's on the Orianna again, but she has too much CC protecting her. Draven going in. Leona looking for another pick. She's on the Veigar. Kayn's coming inbound to clean it up, but it looks like he might get out. No, he does not! In they go, and out they go.
Yeah, the Locket of the Iron Solari Shield, it was Note Aggro's first item, is huge there, because, like, Renekton probably kills the Orianna there, but the Locket Shield is what saves her. And Dandelion Knights are going to pick up a win in their first game.
Good game overall there. Great play by Dandelion Knights, and good to just Good job playing safe and knowing when your power spikes hit to get that W here.
So, what would you want to see as a change from game two? Because I feel like what I would want is something with more backline access somewhere in the kit for role swaps. I don't know if that's more of a diver in the top lane, if it's something like a Kaisa in the ADC role. I feel like Renekton did a decent job getting onto the backline, but they didn't have something that was like, okay, your ADC's dying. Something that is just like a guaranteed way to get onto the ADC, or maybe just like a longer range mage instead of the Veigar that would allow him to hit the ADC and the mid laner on Dandelion Knights from farther away, where he could be safer. But I think they need something with a little bit more backline access somewhere in the kit.
Yeah, this team is definitely a mid-range team. You get in the middle of it, and then you get a full combo off, they'll definitely take the victory here. But with the TDK, they knew this. They played a front to back team comp, making sure they protected the Draven and came out on top.
And I think with that, we're going to take a quick break as we get set up for game two. And we'll see you back here in a moment.
Hello and welcome back here, folks. We're about to head into our second game between the Dandelion Knights and Roll Swapped. Today will be a fun time here, joining myself, Ryder, and Phoenix. We're gonna quickly just jump into ban and pick phase here. Phoenix, what do you have to think about these guys?
So game one was very interesting. We basically saw a Draven pop off in the mid game after a kind of rough start. The Dandelion Knights did end up claiming the victory just with like really powerful team fighting in the mid to late game. The Rolsov had a pretty strong early performance. So we do see some changes being made. They've put Rolsov put their top laner Revo Demise on more of a tank with Maokai as compared to the Renekton, which I think is probably a good call. The lane phase was even, but if you're going to draft a Renekton, you don't want lane phase to be even. You want him to be winning because he falls off. And so with Maokai, you don't really care how the lane phase goes because you're looking at the mid to late game. They take the Orianna for themselves, and they run back the Jarvan, which I think makes sense. The Jarvan was very strong in the early game, and this time they draft Twitch Soraka bot. So before they had a Veigar in the mid, but I think this time Rollsoft have indexed more heavily into scaling, because if you look at the Dandelion Knights, Darius, lane bully, gonna beat the Maokai. That's really just how like. There's some tanks that can kind of contest Darius, but Darius just generally beats tanks. Leona and Xayah are not as strong as Leona Draven, but it's a pretty strong early lane. Notably, the Draven was banned. Roll swaps are like, no, not again, not a second time.
No, they didn't want that happening again.
Yep, and Soraka and Twitch is not a dominant early lane, so that should still go to the Leona Xayah. That is once again a Galio jungle. With Ghost and Smite, and then a brand mid. So I feel like, with the exception maybe of mid lane, particularly in the side lanes, the early lane advantage is on the Dandelion Knight side. So I think this is going to be a case of can Roll Swap withstand the early lane from Dandelion Knights, and then go on to scale. Because one thing I talked about that I wanted to see more of is backline access. And Twitch is backline access. Twitch is everyone access. Once the rat-a-tat-tat starts going, everyone gets hit. It is massive range and tremendous damage as long as he doesn't have someone who's going to jump on him and squash him. And Maokai, Rock, and Orianna peel really well. So I think that if Roll Swapped can get to the mid-late game, Maokai Nature's Grasp into Jarvan Cataclysm into the rat-a-tat-tat, like, the Dandelion Knights are going to be looking at gray screens before they realize that Twitch came out with stealth. On the other hand, if Dandelion Knights get ahead, Roll Swapped are basically going to just get hit by like a bus made of armor and stone in the Darius Leona Galio. Like they're just going to get
thick squad coming in.
Yeah, they're just going to get hit by a semi with the license plate Noxus Dunk and be like, "Yo, what happened?" So I'm really excited to see how this goes. I'm really excited to see what the team fights look like. So I think with that, I'm ready to roll with this.
Yeah, I'm ready to dive right on in here. I'm really excited to see how this Twitch lineup goes here. The Galio is going to be again, if he's jungle, he has some survivability Twitch to late game because he won't be getting ganked as often.
Yes. And I will say, I do know that Gruer really likes Twitch, and I have played with him in some games, and his Twitch is very strong, so I'm excited to see how this goes. Hasagi! All right, so we are here looking at runes and masteries. I think it all looks pretty standard. We've got Ares. We've got the Conqueror Twitch. I think is interesting. Given that Twitch is a bit of a weak early laner, I feel like I see him tend to go fleet footwork a little more just for the sustain. But he will spot out and invade, and he's like, "Oh, I'm out of here."
Yeah, he doesn't want to fall for that again.
The Aftershock on Maokai, I generally take Grasp in melee on melee matchups because it's better trading and it scales. It gives you health to scale. However, the Aftershock makes a lot of sense here. Aftershock is stronger in team fights because of the amount of resist it gives you. It doesn't require you to land autos on a Darius to use. So if you're a tank who uses Aftershock well and you're into a very threatening matchup that you're a little concerned about, it's okay to take Aftershock because you're like, look, I'm not trying to fight the Darius. This Darius took Ghost. That's scary. He's got an axe. I'm a tree. I don't want that. You just take the Aftershock and you're like, look, I'm just going to try to farm. I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to look like a fight.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's definitely not looking to trade. He's looking to just do his combo, get out of there, and survive.
Yep. Both junglers are starting bot lane. Mystic Wave does get a ward down on the red side Raptors, so he'll know whether Jarvan has pathed up there. He's taking a lot of poke from this Orianna, though.
That's pretty big, yeah. Now, I noticed that Galio actually went to Raptors right away, so I'm not sure if he's going to be doing a full red side clear to get that quick level 3, or if he's going to be ganking another lane.
Looks like he is going to do red to Raptors into top side.
Yeah.
Red to Krugs. The issue is that red to Krugs is not very time efficient.
Yeah,
because you end
not
up
as good as
doubling
it
back
used
a
to
lot.
be.
Yeah, and when you're a jungler, you want to be pathing efficiently, and like you don't want to be doubling back any more than you have to. You want to be minimizing your time between camps or ganks. And so, if you go from red to Raptors, you got to go down to go from red down to Krugs, and then back up to red, then up to Raptors, and you do end up wasting some time. Bot lane's being pushed in here for roll swap, which I think is to be expected given the lane situation they're in. I think
they did also see Jarvan on that ward up by his red side jungle, so they know to play. They can play a little bit more aggressive and understand that they're not going to be ganked right away.
Yeah, and that's just good awareness. Galio's doing the top scuttle. I don't think Jarvan will be there in time to get it. Maybe he could just do drive-by smite. Nope, he's gonna path another way.
He's gonna respect the Galio. That that Darius up top side there, he has pressure on the top wave. So if Jarvan does go in, it could be bad news. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Galio's now looking into Jarvan's topside jungle. An invade in the previous game did go rather badly for him. But he's just going to get a Raptor too.
Oh. Got a little bit of a nice trade here mid lane. Now, how do you, I haven't really seen an Orianna brand matchup in a little while there. How do you think this matchup's going to go?
So, one thing I know is Mystic Wave is burning a lot of mana. For the amount of damage that she can do and the amount of wave clear that she has, Orianna is very mana efficient. And so I think she very much has the opportunity here to outlast him. Plus, with Haste of Blood, she has a lot of sustain. Forced Flash.
Wow. That's pretty big. That means Jarvan can definitely pressure down that mid wave a little bit harder, and maybe even get Orianna some turret plates.
Yeah. So it looks like it's Orianna favored right now. Brand's thing is he's not a terrible laner. His base damages are good. But it's kind of hard for him to hit his stun in lane because of minions, which he really needs to get his combo off. So I feel like if you're drafting Brand here, it's either a comfort pick for Mystic Wave or he's like just looking at team fight. Because in skirmishes and objective fights where people have to group up, Brand does massive damage. Notably, he did go first item Blasting Wand. So anyway, he started blasting. Instead of, lots of early damage, but it's not going to fix the mana issue he was having, so. Small CS lead for Buff Aphelios over Brewer. But Brewer still has 2 biscuits, a potion, like, he's got a Soraka. He doesn't have to leave lane anytime soon, so he shouldn't be too worried.
I feel like this game, this is going to be the win clause kind of bot lane here. They need that Twitch to get ahead. They need to put pressure on this map and get those dragons.
Yeah, so one thing in my years of playing League I learned is a good team composition should have at least one scaling pick so that you don't just like...
Nice poke damage by Brand there onto Orianna. We got a nice fun trade topside. The classic. Oh! Very close in taking out the Maokai. Not quite enough.
Not quite enough. But very close. And Brand actually rotated up after shoving the wave in. And did drop a ward near Jarvan's red buff. Yeah, I think like a good team should have one scaling pick at least, so that you don't just get run over in the late game. But you also want to draft at least one winning lane, particularly for your jungler's sake. Because as a jungler, when I'm in a game and there's no lanes that are winning, it just makes my job so hard because there's nothing I can gank. It's like you can't gank Maokai into a Darius because the two of you aren't going to beat him. And you probably don't want to gank the bot lane either. But in this case, Orianna is kind of both the winning lane and the scaling.
You see them pressuring around this blue buff pretty heavily. Jarvan does end up getting it though.
Yeah, so they are going to start up Dragon because they saw Jarvan smite. And notably, I don't think he has a second charge ready. So by forcing that smite out, they just get easy access to the Dragon. And they just get more damage because you never really turned down Infernal. Second drag will be Mountain, so we're looking at either a Cloud Soul or an Ocean Soul this game.
Yeah, I mean, both souls would be pretty great for both teams. More ultis definitely for Leona, or even Galio roams, or even Brand ultis for the Cloud Drake. But that Ocean would be really good for the Darius and Galio as well.
Yeah, as a frontliner, Ocean Soul feels tremendous. One thing I'm seeing, looking at itemization coming through that I think is interesting, is mostly it looks pretty standard. You know, Sunfire for the Maokai, Stinger for the Triforce on Darius. Soraka went CDR boots first, and CDR boots are very good on Raka, but I feel like I usually see Rakas try to rush, you know, the Redemption, the Ardent Censer, maybe the Athenians. This might be a good game for Mikhail's Crucible, because there's a lot of CC that if she could cleanse it off of Twitch, would be fight turning. But
for sure.
To me, it suggests that because the extra CDR will help her poke more in lane, get more stacks for her Stealthy's Edge, that she's not expecting or looking to fight soon, where she would want that heal and shield power. She wants just some general utility and the ability to maybe dodge some of Leona's engages with the movement speed.
Another thing I want to see with you as well, you see that Jarvan's actually going to be going for more of the tankier build. How's that, is he just going to be there for his team, just going to keep off the lines of Twitch? What do you think is going to happen with him here?
I like the Cinderhulk because, frankly, I play some warrior junglers by Rek'Sai, and the issue I always find is that unless you're someone who has massive burst damage or has a lot of mobility like a Lee Sin, the warrior rush leaves you really squishy. And so for junglers who can go Cinderhulk, it's really advantageous because it's just a lot of durability, and it lets Jarvan just be more of an engager, and he can then still go into damage later, because Cinderhulk into Cleaver is still very effective, still gives him good damage, and makes him a really good frontliner, armor shredder, while also being something of a threat to like the Brand, because like Jarvan with Cleaver is more than able to kill a Brand. So like when I see junglers that can go Cinderhulk go warrior, I feel like they find themselves really squishy in fights. And I think that Jarvan was a bit squishy last game, so I like the switch here to be like, okay, Plus, ZZ was ahead early last game, which may be why he decided to go for the warrior. But in this game, it's mostly been a farming jungle, and he's just like, all right, I'll take the Cinder Hulk. I'll be the big beefy boy.
Big tank boy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta be the chungus.
People always say, like, how can you find tanks fun? And I'm like, look, I just walked under tower, ate 6 tower shots, and walked out at half health. How is that not fun? Like, being a tank
I feel
player,
like a superhero.
You get to be some sort of goober, and it doesn't even matter. Like, you just get to do dumb stuff and walk away from it.
Oh, I love my tanks. They're so much fun to play. I love just walking in and just like in my head, I have the song like "Cool Guys Don't Look at Explosions."
Yeah.
Just like walking in, walking out, feeling good.
I always dream of the full armor Malphite. And I just remember I was talking to my fiance, and she was like, I wanted to play Malphite, and she's like, really? I'm like, Malphite is a gentleman's champion. But one thing is, so they are going to summon the Rift Herald.
Oh, here we go. They're going to try and get some plates early for this Darius there. That's some good third plate.
Malphite's going to throw the Nature's Grasp just to dissuade the aggression, which I think is, this went about as well as you'd expect for both teams. They get some plates onto the Jarvan, get them a chunk of gold, but from role swap's point of view, they don't lose the tower, which is good.
Yeah, which
Maokai
is huge. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, and Maokai would like to have a tower to farm under because he's 20 CS down, so giving him that safety to still get some farm is good. Notably, the CS lead in bot has become rather large, with 25, 26 CS for the Xayah. I think part of that's because Twitch Poison makes last hitting hard.
Yeah. They've been pushed up pretty heavily during this game.
Darius is down bot for Dragon, and they do know that he's there. Maokai still does not have ults. And it looks like Jarvan is just deciding not to. I think the call. Yeah, it looks like the call is not to get
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Between the CC from Gallia and Leona, the damage from Brand, who has just completed his first item, Macadam's Son has not. He doesn't even have the gold yet. He's on 700. He'll need about 300 more for his Ludens Echo. Brand with the 1-stack Rod of Ages. The power spike edge was on the side of Dandelion Knights there, and so they decided we don't want to fight in a confined space for a dragon. That's just too risky.
Mm-hmm. And notably here, we got that. They got that ocean, so that truck that might happen. You know, they got that front line extra beefiness with that ocean.
Notably, Maokai's actually starting to win the trades against Darius because he has Sunfire. And Darius diverted by about 1,000 gold to get his Merc Treads. If you are building a Phage item, whether it's Triforce or Cleaver, if the tank gets Cinderhulk before you, they win trades because it just gives them much more durability than you have damage. So Darius does not have the money, not even close for Triforce. He still needs about another, I think, 1,000 gold or so. I would like to see Jarvan look for a top lane tank here because the Darius is chunked down. Maokai is now tanky enough that he's not really in danger of being 1v2. And they could try to either get that turret or get good damage on it.
Looks like Jarvan's going to be potentially just holding off that mid from the pressure that he's putting down on Orianna. Right here, it's pretty hard as laners. They're all being pushed in. They're all farming. They're all being safe. There's a flash by Twitch, and he gets caught. Leona coming in. First blood to Xayah.
That is, at 15 minutes, that is a very late first blood.
Here's the Galio ulti. Jarvan flashed out to safety.
I think that Brand Flash was a little overly ambitious because notably he'd already expended all of his cooldowns. Like, he was going to auto Jarvan, but it wasn't going to do that much damage. But a good Gallia ult does stop the answering kill, because I think otherwise Jarvan may have been able to pick that up using his ultimate.
Twitch
So
is going to lose out on a lot of farm here.
And they're posturing for a dive here, so they're gonna have Soraka's gonna have to back. They're not gonna try to dive her under the tier 2, but this is probably the tier 1 going down and following. This will be first turn.
Oh, Leona's going in. She's stunning. They got a TP. Cancel the TP. Zaya's getting that pick off of Soraka there. Twitch is gonna be trying to leave here. He gates the blast cone out. Leona's still looking. She finds an Orianna. There's a Jarvan. They're stuck in a choke point. Jarvan's going in. Down the... Oh, Leona's going, flashing on Twitch. And there goes Twitch. There goes Leona. Orianna ulti out. And there goes the Jarvan.
Yeah, so that was Revo Demise having TP. I think what he needed to do there was TP to the ward in the tri-bush, because it's always risky to TP to a tower that's about to fall, because Buffafelios correctly just kills the tower. He doesn't attack Twitch, he just finishes off the tower, so there's no Maokai teleport. They're going to lose top lane tower as well. And then even with the barrier, and I'm not sure if Wish was on cooldown before the fight, but they were able to pick up the Soraka. They do lose. They lose one person. Yes, they lost Leona in the ensuing fight, but that was, I think, a 3-for-1 in favor of Dandelion Knights. So very clean team fight for them, clean objective pick, and now they're 4,500 gold up going into this next dragon. And it's probably going to be pretty difficult for Roll Swap to contest it, and that will put Dandelion Knights on soul point. They're going to get the second Herald as well.
Right there. They're just getting the Herald, picking it up, and then moving around.
Yeah, Darius is almost... Okay, Darius does have his Triforce now.
Alright.
Revo Demise is still ahead, I would say, so what I think what they need to do here is they need to get Maokai moving around the map to start fighting in team fights, because Maokai is a tremendously good mid to late game tank, and he's stronger than Darius right now, so if you can team fight and force Darius to come to the team fight, you have a chance of winning even though you are down.
They're chunking down this dragon pretty fast. I don't think they can contest. They want to do something, but they can't get there fast enough. Brand ulti out, doing large chunks of damage. Big Orianna ulti into a Jarvan ulti, into Maokai ulti, but it's just not enough here. The Galio coming down, big ulti from them. Zaya's doing her damage, taking out the rest of the team, and that's a quick cleanup. Oh, can she get it? Can she get the Penta? Penta! Oh, no Penta.
It will be taken. I don't think Buffafelios could have gotten there in time, so I don't think that they would have been able to get the Penta, but Darius did drop the Rift Herald. He's probably going to take the inhib here.
He's taking a lot out here. That was a big win. Big win by Dandelion Knights.
And I know Mystic Wave's in the chat, so I actually want to highlight, I saw what you did there, Wave, and it was really good. He throws the Brand ult onto Jarvan, because Jarvan's the only one in range. It then bounces to Soraka. He throws the Seer at Soraka, knowing that by the time the Q gets to her, she'll have been hit by the Brand ult, which means that she's got a passive stack and is stunned. He's then able, I think he drops the Pillar of Flame, but in either case, it forces Raka to flash out of the fight, and she can't heal the front line. So basically, it was like one of those sci-fi, I'm going to shoot where the teleporting enemy is going to be moves.
Oh, we're getting another engage here. Orianna ulti out, Maokai ulti out, Darius going in, huge Q, Leona ulti down, Darius doing big damage, takes out Soraka. He's not done yet. He's still going. Zaya takes out Jarvan. They're all running pretty low, but Zaya's coming in big, takes out Orianna. Galio going in, haunting the Maokai. There goes the tree. Twitch is here, but there's nothing to stop. These guys are big, large, and in charge.
Yeah, that's the stone and armored train right there. Like, Leona gets caught by the Orianna ult, but she's still pretty tanky and doesn't go down. Twitch isn't there, and Darius Ghost Flash grabs 3 people, basically explodes the Soraka without even needing to ult. And then he just frontlines, and he's not really in danger from anyone who's left. Orianna's already burned her ult. She doesn't have her big cooldown there. Twitch gets there in time to pick up a kill, but this is an 8-0 for Xayah, and I think he critted the Orianna for like 700 damage or something. Like, she was, let's see, Orianna has 1486. She was a little below health, but like 600 health. And she takes 1 crit and dies.
Here's the Darius. Orianna flashed out, but he's going in. Dunking time. There she goes. Can he chop down the tree too? No, he walks away.
Yeah, he's sitting in a bush, and he's waiting for someone to come check the reds off. And it happens to be Orianna, and Max Noonsun falls for that. They're pushing in the mid lane. They've got the Baron up cannon, though notably, because of the range increase, Baron up cannon will not tank the tower. So they have to wait for another wave to get in to really start pushing tower.
Now they do have Ocean Soul in 1 minute and 15 seconds here, so they can be pushing down and get this inhibitor, groove back and get the soul too.
Yeah, they don't want to overextend and risk giving up an Ocean drag, just because, I mean, they can give up the drag here.
Darius is down for the count. He gets 4-man topside there.
I'd like to see
Big
Vivo's Demise just throw the ult here. Just ult down the lane, try to pick some up. Yeah, there we go. They're starting the fight.
They're good. There they go. Can they do something with it? Not quite anyone. They all safely backed off, knowing that it was a 4v5.
But I think that's okay, because you're trying to waste Baron. You're trying to buy time. And it forces them to disengage. And as a result, they don't quite get this tower. They're going to back here, it looks like, on the side of Dandelion Knights to prep for Dragon.
Yeah.
Which will give...
This is going to be a big dragon here.
Yeah. Darius did pick up his Sterox gauge after that last fight, notably, so he's now much more able to frontline. Trinity Force doesn't give a massive amount of health, only 250, but there's 450 health on Sterox, and the shield is huge, so he can absorb a lot of damage before going down now.
Okay, here we go, folks. Ocean Dragon is up and running. How are we gonna deal with this fight now? Oh, Jarvan's looking for a pick on Leona. Not enough damage. Jarvan is down for the count. Xayah takes him out. Galio comes in. They're chopping down that tree. The tree goes down. The train's coming into town, folks. Xayah moves up, takes out the Orianna, takes out the Twitch.
Wait, is that? I think that... Was it not Penta?
No Penta, no. I think
okay.
someone else got the Jarvan.
Okay.
I think. I'm not... It was close, though. Xayah's big, large, and in charge bird.
Yeah, so that's just math. Like, the 3-item 12-0 Xayah, like, nobody can withstand her. Maokai's got a lot of magic resist because of the Brain and the Galio. He's only got Sunfire, which is just not enough armor at this point to withstand Xayah. He'd need a Randuin and more. They're going to claim this bot inhib. They could look for the top inhib, but I think they're just going to... Well, they picked up the
that Ocean Skull now. Darius no longer dies, but they're going to try. They're engaging on him. Does he have Q up? He's silenced. He doesn't have any damage. He does get the Q off, but not enough to save his life there. Maokai is running in, trying to chip them down, but there goes the bird. She's nesting in that tree. Down goes Maokai.
Yeah, so they do pick up the Darius, but notably Darius didn't even have a bounty, so it's 300 gold to Twitch, which is good, but you're down 2 inhibs, almost a third to a mini wave. Let me see how much gold. Okay, Twitch has enough to finish his Zeal item. I assume it's a Runaan's. So, like, from Rollsoft's perspective, your ADC is strong-ish now, but Xayah has 100% crit. She's got Phantom Dancer, Runaan's, Essence Reaver, and Infinity Edge. and Berserker's Greaves. The only thing she would want now is she didn't take Legend Bloodline. She took Lethal Tempo and Alacrity. So given that there's not a ton of arm on the side of Roll Swap, my assumption would be she might go for a Bloodthirster. Or maybe a Bork to kill some of the big high health targets. But she might want to Light Device next, just in case. But she's already pretty durable with the Phantom Dancer shield, so...
Baron's going to be coming up in 45 seconds here. They're warding it out and checking out the scene here. Leona ult. And not quite a pick on Soraka. They tried.
And notably, like, because of the Ocean Soul, she's basically just as healthy as she was coming in. In a way, the Twitch Poison actually works against them here.
She finds that pick. She's going in. Jarvan's trying to save him. Gets pulled in by Darius. Down goes the Raka. Stun goes out. Double kill to the bird. Xayah coming to town. Beep, beep. Move aside. They're coming for your Nexus.
Yeah, they're going to try to... Rollsoft are going to try to make a last stand here. They're going to cut off an Nature's Grasp.
There goes Leona onto Orianna. Xayah's on pigs. Switch out with Darius there. She's chopping down the tree. Down goes the tree. Galio making quick work of Orianna over there. Down goes the turrets. Here goes the Nexus. GG all around.
And that is a very clean 2-0 for Dandelion Knights. I don't remember the end result for Shuriman Division last season.
Yeah, very big game. Just, that was Xayah got ahead and could not be stopped. Coming in, taking them all out, getting those major objectives that they needed to, and then pushing it down, taking that W. Good win by them on that part there. Is very well played. They took objectives.
And they demonstrated the ability to use off-meta picks like the Kayn top, the Galio jungle, the Brand mid, the ability to carry through multiple lanes. Like, they just demonstrated why they're such a well-rounded threat, because they're all strong. They have a lot of flexibility in how they want to attack an individual game. And no matter what approach they choose to take, they're very dangerous. So very well played by Dandelion Knights. Well played by Roll Swapped. I think the second game felt a little bit more like they didn't have as much early game strength, and so got kind of run over a bit in the early game, and it just kind of snowballed. But I'm looking forward to seeing more of these two teams in future weeks as we continue to play.
Me as well, those teams. Very well. I'm excited to see what TDK pulls out next time.
So we're going to take a quick break here as we get set up for our third or fourth match of the day. I think next is our third match of the day. And we'll see you back in a few minutes.